Welcome to Auto 2021 in Shanghai. It's only been 7 months since last year's Auto China, which was held in Beijing back in September. Has the market fundamentally changed? Well, the answer is not really. If you look at the first quarter sales this year in China, well, the numbers look pretty exceptional on paper. However, if you compare with pre-pandemic levels, for example, the first quarter in 2019, a relatively normal year, the growth was pretty minimal. What has changed is that the China market has become more committed to electric vehicles. I'm talking about the old world of automakers, for example, Ford and Volkswagen, as well as the new breed of automakers like XPeng, NIO, and Li Auto. By e-cars, I mean full electric, battery-driven cars, not just hybrids, because even the ultra-luxury brands are going full electric, because the market trend is there. And e-cars, the segment has been a major contributor to China's auto sales recovery. Well, if you look at the mid to long term, the time is ticking for petrol and diesel car makers, because major economies, including the UK and the US, are going to ban the sales of petrol and diesel cars. And China is probably going to announce similar policies as early as 2035, according to analysts, or around 2045. But still, the time is very short for all these auto brands to adjust their product offerings. But it doesn't mean it will get any easier for brands that started as e-car makers, for example, Li Auto, XPeng, and NIO, because the market has become pretty competitive. Huawei is also announcing plans to join the game. For example, it wants to become an auto supplier to work with other brands to create smart and electric-driven cars. And that means the stake is really high for all players in this market. And that's the reason why shares of NIO, XPeng, and Li Auto suffered a bit recently in the US, because there's this concern in the market that they might lose some market share to Huawei, which is not even an automaker at this point. And analysts say this type of competition is vital for the long-term growth of these new breed of automakers here in China, because they need to learn how to think deeply about the future and reposition themselves to cater to the market demand here and create cars that will actually sell in the long run. Competition aside, there's another risk for the global auto industry. That is the global shortage of chip supply, but that's going to be a case-by-case matter for different auto brands. For example, tech-savvy brands are likely to face more headwinds, while the traditional and luxury car makers are likely to be better off. But this risk is going to last for quite some time. So about this, I spoke to McKinsey.
I think the chip shortage is actually not only in the automotive sector. I think it's a much broader question. I think also the challenge is, I think automotive as an industry, in terms of chip consumption, is a relatively smaller share of all the different industries. So I think the problem itself is going to probably hold for a while, and it will eventually get solved, but probably not because, or not solely because, automotive has this shortage. Well, I think in R&D, they probably cannot really adjust in the very short term, right? But I think overall, it's a reminder of how you actually really manage the supply chain with a bit of a more foresight going forward. Today is probably still a smaller share, but down the road will actually increase demand.
Generally, the sentiment among automakers towards China sales for 2021 is quite positive and strong, because China still leads the global economic recovery in the post-pandemic era.